friends, welcome to the world of metabolism. Let's talk today about triglyceride or triacylglycerols, right? These are the molecules which are supplying you energy even when you are starving. So most of the times we know that whenever we undergo starvation, it is something in our body that is helping us to survive under these conditions, right? We have heard about glycogen also as a storage molecule, but then this glycogen can serve as a storehouse of energy only for few hours, right? For an average individual, say weighing around 70 kg with an average build, can survive for weeks together with this supply of triglycerides or triacylglycerol. We know that a typical triacylglycerol, it comprises of a glycerol molecule in its backbone, which is esterified to 3 molecules of your fatty acid. How is this synthesized, right? Now this is about what you call as having a backbone, that is glycerol. So first what I need is my glycerol. Second what I need is the activated fatty acids. So this proceeds via the formation of an intermediate, that is phosphatidic acid. A typical phosphatidic acid, as we will see, it comprises of a glycerol, 2 fatty acid and a phosphate. This forms as a precursor for both of these. One, phospholipids, and second, triacylglycerol. So most of the pathways for synthesis of the phospholipid and for triglycerides are same till we reach the formation of phosphatidic acid. So let's go about this. We know that even if you have consumed excess of carbohydrates, they are also converted into these fats, right? So talking about carbohydrate metabolism, we know the famous pathways glycolysis. So extra amount of glucose if you have, or extra carbohydrates if they are there, you also suffice the need for synthesis of glycogen. That excess is also converted to triacylglycerol. So the glycerol molecule we will get from this particular intermediate of glycolysis, that is your DHAP, right? We know that the pathway for glucose catabolism, glucose undergoes glycolysis, there is an intermediate formation of DHAP. DHAP, the dihydroxyacetone phosphate, it is reduced by glycerol 3-phosphate dehydrogenase using NADH and H plus as the cofactor. So there it result in the formation of L-glycerol 3-phosphate. So we are ready with the backbone for synthesis of phosphatidic acid. So L-glycerol 3-phosphate, you can also get this L-glycerol 3-phosphate if you directly start from glycerol. Very less molecules of L-glycerol 3-phosphate, they come directly from glycerol. So glycerol can be acted upon by glycerol kinase, which uses ATP as its cofactor, and there is formation of this L-glycerol 3-phosphate. Okay, तो अभी हमारे पास L-glycerol 3-phosphate ready, right? अभी हमको क्या करना है? Phosphatidic acid. Phosphatidic acid में क्या है? There are 2 fatty acids. One esterified here, other esterified here. Right? This is going to remain as it is. So for that I need a fatty acid. So let's go to this fatty acid. This fatty acid will not come directly as it is. It needs to be activated. Like you saw that fatty acid needs to be converted to fatty acyl CoA. So there is formation of this what is called as your fatty acyl CoA. This formation of fatty acyl CoA is catalyzed by acyl CoA synthetase. Acyl CoA synthetase will transfer the CoAsh group with concomitant hydrolysis of ATP, right, which will provide the energy required, and this particular fatty acyl CoA will be formed. So how many fatty acyl CoAs I am going to require? 2, because I am forming L-glycerol diacylglycerol 3-phosphate. So therefore I need 2 fatty acids. So another fatty acid again activated by acyl CoA synthetase, and I now have one more fatty acyl CoA, right? During the degradation of fatty acid also, this step is the first step. So these 2 fatty acids, now they are transferred to my L-glycerol 3-phosphate by acyl transferase. So it is the acyl transferase enzyme, right? So this enzyme will act twice, and this acyl transferase enzyme, it will transfer these 2 fatty acyl CoAs to what you call as your this particular L-glycerol 3-phosphate. The CoAsh will go out and it will result in the formation of phosphatidic acid. So I have CH2O. So here first fatty acid is esterified. I have one more here. So here I have the second fatty acid esterified, and the last one, it still has the phosphate attached. So this forms what is called as your phosphatidic acid. So here you will find that this particular molecule, glycerol, it is the backbone here, and you have the 2 fatty acids, right, which you have got from the fatty acyl CoAs which we have got here. So acyl transferase, it has transferred these fatty acids, and this has resulted in the formation of your major intermediate, that is phosphatidic acid. From this phosphatidic acid, now you wish to form a triacylglycerol, right? So coming to this, इसमें क्या करना पड़ेगा आपको? You'll have to remove this phosphate, right? So you start from that L-glycerol 3-phosphate, right? You start with phosphatidic acid. So you take a phosphatidic acid from here. If I start from here, I'll remove this particular phosphate with the help of enzyme phosphatidic acid phosphatase. So I have the enzyme phosphatidic acid phosphatase. So this phosphatidic acid phosphatase, it will remove what you call as your phosphate group. So I have 1,2-diacylglycerol left with me. So I have this one esterified, this second one again esterified to the second fatty acid, and the third one now has this OH group. Now this, in the similar manner as we have seen there, one more fatty acyl CoA will enter. Right, say now I reduce this, so you have R3, the third fatty acid in the form of its CoA, which has been activated no doubt by acyl CoA synthetase. This will what you call as give the CoAsh group. The enzyme here will be your acyl transferase, and now you have the formation of your typical triacylglycerol. So you have your CH2O, C double bond O, R1, the first fatty acid, the second fatty acid, and your third fatty acid. So this is how you have now synthesized this triacylglycerol. Stay tuned with us for more such derivations and equations, a lot of metabolism and microbiology, and lots of more in life sciences in general with me, Professor Girish Kukreja. Thank you.